Welcome to episode, yes, I'm about to say it, 6.5 of the Super Acquaintances College Baseball podcast. We have about half of our staff on retainer here for today's episode, but that doesn't mean you're going to be getting any watered down content by any means. And the boys filled me in, and I was unfortunately not able to participate in the recording for Thursday's episode, but they let me know that the content that they recorded was anything but watered down. You guys want to touch on that a little bit before we?
Yeah, we will definitely be posting snippets from that podcast.
It was electric, absolutely electric.
Yeah.
I mean, the return of the helicopter, Sujus's touchdown math, Kendall Rogers is an idiot. There was a lot.
Texas made me drink almost a whole handle in a day. That was interesting. And yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, I don't expect anything different from people that grew up in Salina, Texas, than to apply football math to baseball.
True, very true.
And they were good at neither.
Amen.
Yeah, Travin had himself a weekend. He beat me 295 to
You're muted again, Travis.
negative
I knew it was
17.
Yeah,
And we still have a game going on too, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
he played them dogs both days that they won.
I'm telling you, it could have been worse.
No, it could not have been much worse.
I could have played Wake Forest and you would have been down another at least 150.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have also played Miami and I could have played Mississippi State. But I mean, Nebraska's minus 85 today against A&M Corpus Christi was kind of disgusting. Nebraska's probably the worst team I've ever seen in history. Even worse than pre-injury Mississippi State.
that's pretty brutal. Yeah, I mean, 295 for TJ is pretty close to one of our. I mean, it's going to be tough to top that record set by Eric when Tennessee was shelling Iona to death
That was completely unfair.
to early retirement. But yeah, so let's quickly highlight some of the bigger, takeaways from this weekend. Obviously, the big series in the ACC. Well, there were a couple. Unfortunately for me, the biggest one that I had to follow and had to. The biggest reason for my loss to Sieges this week in fantasy was Georgia Tech's shellacking at the hands of Wake Forest.
Talk about football math.
27-7 is rough.
That's quite rough. I mean, 27-7. You can't be much worse than that. What other big series? So Georgia Tech, I know they won the Sunday game, so they didn't get swept, but they definitely dropped that series. There was NC State, Florida State. Notre Dame got swept by Louisville.
Notre Dame got swept by Louisville. I told you guys, pay attention to Louisville.
Yeah,
and y'all just didn't. Louisville and Cincinnati, man, they're two.
What?
They're two dark horses.
I could have sworn you said Louisville were imposters.
They're both imposters.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I was confused. I thought we were just talking.
That's what a podcast is just talking.
Yes.
I mean, they held Notre Dame's fake offense to only one run on Saturday. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. Brett Metzinger, he's a beast. He's been hitting dongs left and right. Every single series, I feel like I see a post from Louisville that he's just hitting another one for no reason. I don't know how he hasn't hit 35 home runs this year already.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it last week, and we'll post the clip, but we touched pretty heavily that Notre Dame was way too high of a rank for where they were.
Yeah, we said that from our first episode. I mean, we talked about how Notre Dame was the Texas of ACC sports.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not. And I will leave it at that. I think everybody was so high on, what was that, their NC State series that they beat NC State. I think everybody was so high on NC State that they were like, oh shit, they beat NC State, so maybe they need to jump up a few ranks. And then they jumped quite literally everyone in the rankings, apparently. Thanks, Kendall. But
the wrong way.
Yeah, the wrong way.
Looked like Texas had a bounce back weekend though. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a big bounce back in our pick'ems for our teams. I had them going 3-0. I mean, they're playing University of Incarnate Word. If you lose to them, you should forfeit your rest of your season.
Hey, man, bigger teams have lost to worse.
I mean, yes, but if you're as high a caliber team as Texas, I mean,
How high is that though?
tune in Monday or tomorrow, and we'll drop the rankings, and then I'll let you know where they're at.
True. And then
But
I think what happened in the Battle of the Bulldogs, because I know that you guys were pitting your teams against each other in that series.
Georgia went 2-1 against Mississippi State. I thought they were going to sweep them because Georgia had been playing good ball, and Mississippi State was playing ball of some sorts that wasn't baseball. So I had them getting a sweep. They went 2-1. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I mean, it's almost like they were almost kind of evenly matched the whole weekend, though.
Yeah, I was just saying it wasn't like
Georgia shut them out 11-0 on Friday. Then Georgia has to lean on a walk-off in the second game, and then Mississippi State blows them out 20-3 on Sunday. So, I mean,
yeah, you would think the teams that are that evenly matched, so to say, it would be a fun weekend of baseball to watch. But it was kind of just like, oh, these are very one-sided games.
Well, we talked about it the other day. I would much rather watch 17 dongs leave the field than watch a 2-1 ACC game.
You're not wrong. And if we're talking about 17 dongs leaving the field, we need to touch a little heavier on that Wake Forest Georgia Tech series, because wow, I was wrong. I listened to Travis too much in his advice, I guess, where he says
I'll explain what happened.
He says Sundays are usually the only games that they're going to drop. But dude, first game, big win, 5-3, just to get the momentum rolling. And boy, howdy, did that momentum show up on Saturday with I don't even know of a correct adjective to describe the 27-7, just unconsensual beatdown.
You can describe it as a football game.
I mean, they had 27 runs on 27 hits. Two of the guys hit 2 dongs, Brennan Tinsman and Brock Wilkin. They combined for 10 RBIs. So huge, powerful offenses. I remember one of the innings I looked over, it was a 3-run bomb. The next batter was a hit by pitch. And then the next pitch was a 2-run dong. So previously I'd stated that Wake Forest was the pretender. I was like, their schedule's looking too hard. They got Georgia Tech coming up. They got this, that, and made me eat my own words. And we'll get into it a little later. But I have different feelings about them for sure.
I'll touch on Georgia Tech for sure, and we'll touch on them in the bold predictions segment, because I made a bold prediction about them last week, and it showed up, reared its ugly face in that series. Other big ones, I think Vandy dominated Mizzou pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
I did see that UNC, the Tar Heels, were able to beat Duke, though neither team got the sweep, as either of our fellow co-hosts predicted. We had Sue just calling for the Duke sweep of North Carolina, and then Benji calling for the Tar Heel sweep of Duke. So neither of those happened. But North Carolina did come up with a victory. That was actually pretty cool, because just for the listeners, I flew back from Phoenix directly to Raleigh, because my parents live in Raleigh, seeing them for the weekend. And we were walking around Duke's campus while the game was happening on Friday, which is kind of cool. We talked about Texas in the Big 12. Unfortunately, I don't think there's too many other. What other notable teams are there in the Big 12? Oklahoma State.
For Big 12.
Actually, I mean, yeah. Don't let me forget about the A&M LSU series. Is that what you guys are about to touch on?
I was not.
Should we say that for? Should we say that for the bold predictions segment? Because
no. Because I think Brennan needs to. Oh,
that's what I mean.
That you moved. Brennan has to touch on his. LSU is going to drop 2 of the next 3 series.
That's what I mean.
Beat A&M. So I'll let Brennan take that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go back on my bold prediction and say LSU is going to lose 3 of the next 3 series.
You can't go back on it. That's not how
predictions
work.
I'm going to make it worse. They're obviously going to drop their next 2.
Then
if they
again,
can't compete with A&M. They're not competing with Georgia or Florida right now.
All right, let's take this. Let's save it for. Let's get into the bold predictions and wrap it all up together, though.
Don't forget about the ACC. Old Miami beating Clemson 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. So Miami Miami showed up. That kind of goes in line with what Eric had to say about Clemson being pretenders. Virginia, it looked like, I know they dominated Boston College on Saturday. I didn't see the remaining games in that series though. I have to assume that
they beat them
indeed
7-6 on Friday, so at least they won that series.
yeah.
And Geloff, I know we're jumping to bold predictions too early, but Geloff is tied for the home run leader.
Wow. All right. Kudos to Eric then.
Yeah.
He is.
Okay. Well, if we come across,
I got one that I want to touch on. It's not Big 12 or ACC, Oregon in the Pac-12 sweeping Utah. That's big because I thought that the Stanford series was kind of like a fluke. But no, they came out, battled, got the full sweep against Utah. I think that puts them heavy contenders in the Pac-12.
yeah, the only other Pac-12 team, right? Stanford. I know they lost their first 2 games to Arizona. I don't know if they're playing right now. I assume they are. No, actually, they lost their first 2, and their 3rd game is on Monday. So they're on the verge of getting swept by Arizona, and I will talk about them more in our contender pretender segment. But without further ado, guys, unless I'm missing something.
I mean, there's one more. I mean, TCU Baylor. TCU finished that series 2-1. So I mean, they're still hanging around that 20 to 25 range. They're probably not much better than that, but I don't see them leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, and I'll add that Florida, I know, beat Alabama 2-1. They were not able to get the sweep today, but they handled them pretty easily on Friday, Saturday, and then lost by 1 run, I think, today. So
was Vandy the only team to sweep this weekend? Or no, Tennessee swept too. Did they sweep
Oregon?
Did they sweep South Carolina? I'm talking about SEC one.
Oh, sorry. NC State is. I'm very confused what I said NC State was going to do.
In the SEC, they had a pretty good SEC weekend.
Tennessee did sweep South Carolina.
They did. Okay.
Yes, NC State is not in the SEC. I'm dumb.
It's all right. It's been a long weekend.
Vandy did sweep Mizzou. They held them to 2 runs on Friday and Saturday, and then won 7-4 on Sunday.
Wow, Mizzou's been hot too.
Let's move into the player of the week segment, though. TJ, who? So, guys, since Eric's not here to host this segment, we're gonna just do a little bit of a round table, and we will post the 3 of our results on Twitter for a little Twitter poll, and let the fans, let all you listeners, decide who the player of the week was. TJ.
Yeah, I had so strictly off that 27-7 win against Georgia Tech. I had Brock Wilken, went 3 for 6, 2 home runs and a double, 2 walks and 5 RBIs. For the whole weekend, his stat line wasn't great. His standout game was Saturday. So, but that standout, that's a huge stat line. Obviously, going yard twice and then hitting another extra base hit to tap onto it. So he's got my vote for this week. Travis, you?
Yeah, so I want to give honorable mention. Robert Moore had a big weekend for Arkansas. I'm going to talk about in my contender pretender segment. He had knocked in 6 runs on Friday and Saturday. Hunter Barca for Florida held Alabama to 1 run through 8 innings on Friday, which is pretty. Anytime you see a pitcher go more than 7 innings, that's great to see. 8 innings is awesome. But my nomination goes to Travis Bazzara, an infielder for Oregon State. I'm going to call him Travis Bananas, because this man went bananas this weekend. He knocked in 8 runs on Friday against Arizona State, and then followed up on Saturday by going yard again. He's going to pop back up in my turned on by statistics segment. But yeah, the Sun Devils, shockingly, actually, here's a good Pac-12 result. So Oregon State put an absolute beat down on the Sun Devils. I think 12-2 on Friday, and then 20-something to 0 on Saturday. And then Arizona State actually won 3-1 on Sunday. So they managed to pull out a victory against Oregon State, which is pretty impressive. I'm not going to fault the Beavers too much in my rankings for that one, because they did win the series in a pretty handily fashion. But credit to the Sun Devils for pulling out that victory. Brennan, who is your player of the game or player of the weekend?
So mine is going to be Nathan Chong from St. Mary's. Kid is absolutely unreal. Boosted his batting average to 519 over the weekend. He started every single game, played in every single game. So it's not like, he's played in 4 or 5 games this week. No. He's their starting first baseman. I mean, kid's unreal. He's just putting balls in play in every single series. And dude's a savage.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Did you say what he did specifically this weekend?
No, not specifically this weekend. He just had a good weekend.
Gotcha.
I mean, unless you want me to say that he went like 4 for 6, and
No. I was going to actually back you up. So Nathan Chong is number 1 in the nation in on base percentage right now. So he's getting on base at
we talked about that last episode. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's getting on base at a 639 clip, right? So 2 out of every 3 plate appearances, this man is finding a way to get on base. Again, best in the nation. And in OPS, there's only 2 players that are above him. So, on base plus slugging, Sonny DeChar of Auburn and Joe Hollerback of Cornell are the only 2 players that have a better OPS than Nathan Chong. So the man's absolutely swinging a massive stick right now.
Yeah, that's just insane to have a above 6 clip for on base percentage. That's wild.
So I'll take it into again, we're going to post those results on Twitter instead of letting any one of us kind of take over Eric's segment while he's gone. For my segment, the turned on by statistics. So I mentioned Travis Bananas Bonanza of Oregon State. My number that turns me on is 4. That is the number of times that he came up to the plate with the bases loaded in one game on Saturday.
Wow. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
What were the outcomes of those? Not that it takes away from anything, but what were the outcomes of those?
First inning, grand slam. Second appearance was a bases clearing double. So the last ones, I think he got 1 more RBI, probably from like a base on balls or something like that, to bring the total to 8. But yeah, hitting 4 times in one game with the bases loaded is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's nutty. My stat for you, we got the big righty from the University of Tennessee, Ben Joyce, throwing 104.5 miles per hour. 104 that isn't legal on a speed sign anywhere in the US. And to top it off with that, he has a 90-mile-an-hour changeup, and that's his off speed. So he's making kids, I mean, have no shot at the plate when you're throwing 100 plus, and then just to make them look dumb on a 90-mile-an-hour pitch after that, it's kind of wild. So yeah, 104.5, nuts.
Imagine being out in front of a 90-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah, right. And it's weird because most college pitchers, their fastballs are sitting 91, 92.
Yeah, like so 93 is like a good college fastball.
Yeah. But you got this dude who is so incredibly more powerful, throwing 104, and not to mention he's just coming off of Tom John too. So
he's tight. It's all tight.
He's got the
they give him the rookie of the year.
I was about to say
electromatic tendon.
Yeah, just wait till he starts throwing underhand.
Yeah, this is one of the
Leafs changeup.
It must be a new technology that they're doing in that UCL surgery. So
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
my good. Yeah.
Thanks, Travis, for fixing him.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that would currently rate as like one of the top 5 fastest pitches ever recorded in Major League history.
Yeah,
it's just funny because like Jacob deGrom is up there making Major League hitters look foolish, with 101 sometimes. 104.5 that's ridiculous.
I mean, you can't even train for that either. You can't. You go up to the plate and you're like, well, really should have bumped the cage arm up to 105 today because we're facing Ben Joyce.
You're gonna have to move the pitching machine into like 3 feet away and have it like pump 80-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, it'll become become soft toss it at 70.
Yeah.
So my statistic, I have two for you. It's going to be 0
Double turned on.
and .082. Connor Stain from UCF. 5 appearances, 5 games started, 0.00 ERA. Opponents are only batting .082 against this kid.
He's a starter.
He is a starter. He has given up 6 hits in 22.2 innings. He's faced 73 batters. Only 6 have gotten on.
What?
Zero ERA.
Hold on. Okay, say this. What's this man's name again?
Connor Stain, Staine.
What's how many walks on the year?
8.
That's still incredible.
Yeah.
Through 5 appearances.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, he is 8th in the country in WHIP. I guess he's not striking out people at a high clip, but
No, he's at 27 through 22.
So okay, so well, I mean that's still pretty damn good.
That's more than a strikeout an inning. I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe need to debug my spreadsheet, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, through 5 starts, 0.0 ERA.
Wow. I mean, yeah, you can't get any better than that.
No, you physically can't. I mean, wow. Okay, well, looks like you have a lot of stats to
I feel
be
like
aroused by.
yeah, I mean, probably I'm gonna have to put mine in last place as remarkable. I mean, that's what I love about this segment is and baseball in general is every week you can find a tidbit like this, which is just incredible. But I'm gonna have to I feel like we just need to get Ben Joyce's out of the way. And I hope to dear God for the hitters that he's facing that he doesn't pump a fastball in there harder than 104.5.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
if he does, then I'm just gonna have to do another turned on by stats for you. Because if you're 104, that's 104.5 is insane.
Yeah.
But then just to hear, oh yeah, he's throwing 105.
Yeah, the fact my car goes 10 more miles per hour.
in total, yeah.
Yeah, my car.
Yeah. I'll give that one to Ben Joyce just because this dude's gonna keep doing it. I feel like we gotta knock him out though. Although great job, guys, on those are some great statistics.
Yeah.
Definitely turned me on.
So
I figured 0 would really turn you on.
the amount of women that like me in my life also love that.
Does
All
your
right.
mom listen? Your mom not a listener yet?
No, my dad is though.
Oh, both my parents are listeners.
Well, there's at least one there for
yeah.
All right.
I guess I'll go and do my my TJ's twisted takes.
Yeah, definitely. Let's first
Not
catch up with the last ones from our last released episode and see how they're doing. I'll walk it through.
yeah, please.
So we had TJ predicted that Texas would win their next 6 games. So they beat Incarnate Word 3 times, right?
Yeah, they lost.
Well, yeah, but they lost their midweek.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the College of Charleston.
That's right. Yes. How could I forget?
So yeah,
South Carolina is like the heebie-jeebies for the Longhorns.
Kryptonite, yeah, the kryptonite for Texas baseball. So that's off the bat one shotgun. I promise I'll get these twisted. Yeah, I'll shotgun these as soon as I'm out of this sling and I can move around. But that's one off the bat.
And so Eric's was that Virginia would move to 22-1 and will feature the home run leader. So I know you guys talked about Geloff.
Yep, he's tied now, and he gave him 14 days. So obviously he has more time still, and things could change.
Looking good though.
Yeah, looking real good.
Props to Eric for that one. We'll keep track of that one. Benji predicted that UNC would move to 22-3 and into the top 5. So we'll have to keep tracking that one. They took 2 or 3 from Duke, so they're looking good. They're definitely trending in the right direction in terms of rankings. Suges is pretty easy to debunk because he called that Duke would go 4-0 with the sweep of UNC. So
it didn't work.
And we're going to post a clip of because we called Sujic out because of the text he sent in the group message when he said, "Oh hell yeah, let's go West Virginia."
West Virginia beat Duke.
Yeah, he had himself so confused that he didn't realize that he said Duke was gonna go 4-0 through the midweek and weekend.
So I made 2 predictions, and I predicted that Arkansas was going to win their next 11 straight. They are on a 11-game winning streak after sweeping Kentucky, like I said they would. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to touch on them in my contender, segment. My other main prediction, this is a long-term one, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update. I predicted that Georgia Tech would finish bottom 3 in the ACC in team ERA and still win the ACC. So they can very much still win the ACC, and I still have faith that can happen. What happened on Friday and Saturday, I said that Georgia Tech had an automatic victory on Friday and Saturday if their Friday-Saturday starters continue to do what they have been doing. So Chance Huff and Zach Maxwell. Chance Huff had an okay outing on Friday, not enough to get the job done. Only got the 3 runs of support. But I'm going to walk you guys through the Georgia Tech box score on Saturday. So Zach Maxwell gave up 5 earned runs in 3 innings pitched to bring his ERA up to 7.65 for the season. Georgia Tech got a pretty good relief outing from Logan McGuire, 1 inning pitched, only gave up 1 earned run. So pretty good. Aiden Finateri came in, gave up 4 hits and 5 earned runs without recording an out to bring his season ERA to 12. Sam Crawford followed that. He also failed to record an out, also gave up 4 hits, did give up 4 earned runs. His season ERA is now 15.95. Don't worry, I'm not finished yet.
Oh yeah, no, I know the next guy.
Cameron Hill went 1.2 innings, so he managed to get some people out, but not before giving 5 earned runs himself. So
that is the guy that 3-run tank hit a guy, 2-run tank. I remember saying that.
That will explain the 5 earned runs. So he's sitting at 12.54. And lastly, Cameron Kleins came in for the 8th inning, gave up 2 earned runs, which comparatively, for everybody else, what happened?
Looks good.
Pretty good. Unfortunately, his season ERA is 18, the highest of the bunch. So the bullpen staff is not there. Kind of like Stanford. If the Friday, Saturday guys aren't there, the team's not going to have success. And, Chance Huff wasn't outstanding. And then Maxwell clearly didn't have it. So, yeah, that prediction is, as far as the ERA component goes, is looking quite good.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets, if you guys are listening, I have 5 years of eligibility. My shoulder just got fixed, so
I might throw 104.5, maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
Shot.
You might need to take a chance. But I will say, had a 2.1 GPA in high school, but this would just be a strictly sports signing. So balls in your court.
I'm general education major. I'm not sure if Georgia Tech does those, but the last prediction. So that kind of summarized the Georgia Tech Wake Forest series. The last prediction I'll let Brennan cover. He predicted that LSU would drop 2 of their next 3 series and 1 of 2 of their next midweek games. So how's that looking?
Well, so they beat Tulane. They dropped 2 of 3 against A&M. So there's 1 series down.
That's not the one you thought was going to happen, though, right?
No, it's not. So now I have to hope that they beat Auburn, which I feel like comparatively A&M and Auburn are the same team. So it's not looking good.
I thought Auburn put a smackdown on Ole Miss one time this weekend.
One time.
It's better than no times.
Yeah. They only need to do it one more time, and then you lost 2 of 3. So
yeah, they can take that smackdown. They can split up into 2 games and beat LSU both those games.
Exactly.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Or they could sweep, and then you're just like, whoa.
Oh, it's looking rough for my Tigers. And then they have Tech this week that they've already dropped a game 13-6 to, but that was at Tech. This one's in Baton Rouge, so that might not come true.
I assume you mean Louisiana Tech?
Yeah, Louisiana Tech, sorry. But their next weekend series against Florida, they're they're going to get swept. LSU is going to drop 3 of 3. It's going to be a hideous weekend for LSU baseball.
I hope we play each other that week in fantasy, because then Florida can take LSU to the cleaners.
Nope, I'll just put in Mississippi State.
Wow, who would have thought you had sunk to that depth?
Or I'll put in Kentucky.
Yeah, I would put Kentucky over Mississippi State.
I wouldn't put either one of them in.
So that's a little update on our last series of bold predictions. So TJ, you want to take us away with your first twisted take for this week?
Twisted take, not sponsored yet, but they should. So my bold prediction, my take for I think we're all agreeing that we're gonna do takes that are through the week and the weekend, just so we can kind of recap, just so we're not trying to follow a end of season take. So mine is I think this is turning into a Wake Forest podcast for me. I've got Wake Forest beating Liberty in their midweek game. That is my take. That is on, let me double check real quick so I don't talk out my ass. Tuesday, March 22nd.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I think they need to have that, because if they do, I think that'll be a big momentum push going into their weekend series against Virginia. And if they have that, I think Wake Forest will be sitting pretty. So yeah, I got Wake Forest beating Liberty in their midweek game on Tuesday this week.
That's pretty bold, because Liberty is definitely a contender.
Liberty is. Oh, I think Brennan would say the opposite for Liberty, but yeah, go ahead with your take, Brennan.
They're pretenders. My bold take would be that LSU drops that series 3-0, 0-3 against Florida this weekend.
So you're just reassuring your last take?
No, well, my last take is that they're going to drop 2 or 3 series, but they're going 0-3 against Florida this week.
Okay, so you're just getting more precise.
Yeah, it's the biggest series in the SEC next week. So
is that at UF or at LSU?
It's at Florida.
Yeah. I'll give mine. I think my bold prediction is that Stanford sweeps Washington State by 7 or more runs in each of 3 games.
Oh wow!
And I'm predicting this because if this prediction does not come to pass, I don't think Stanford finishes in the top 3 in the Pac-12. Like, they have to find.
Previously said that they. Oh, I guess that was just over the next couple of games. They were going to fall to a 500 team.
So I highlighted that as one of my considerations for bold predictions. I said if they lost their midweek game last week, I can't remember who it was to, then I said they were going to get swept by Arizona and fall to a 500 team.
Yep.
Incidentally, they are on the verge of getting swept by Arizona. And if they do lose tomorrow, they will be 1 game above 500. So their next 2 series in the Pac-12 are against Washington State and Oregon State. And if they don't find a way to turn it on against Washington State in a big way, Oregon State is going to be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
On Stanford's season, which is a shame, because I was really high on them at the beginning, and Arkansas has put it together and Stanford has fallen apart. So I'll transition that, if you guys want, into the contender pretender segment, because Stanford was definitely my pretender, and I don't have to really say anything else about it. Arkansas, though, by contrast, I've got as a contender. They looked wishy-washy and uncertain the first several weeks of the season. I told you guys that they turned it on last weekend versus UIC, and I predicted they would sweep Kentucky, and they proceeded to do just that. So the best thing to see from Arkansas, though, was that they did it on both sides of the ball. I believe they held Kentucky to 3 or less runs each game, if not in total of that series. And then they put up a good amount of runs each game. So really, really happy with the Razorbacks, what they're doing right now. Kentucky, I didn't have them in my top 25, as we talked about, but they're not a slouch team either. So really, really good to see them do it as SEC play continues to roll on.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, as we've touched on multiple times, SEC and ACC, they're just baseball conferences. I mean, they're always fun to watch. The atmosphere is crazy, and they always house the best teams consistently. But I mean, that's just what you get when you're in the South.
Who do you have for your contender pretender?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So my contender, I will go back on my previous statement of Wake Forest being a pretender. Like I said earlier, this is a Wake Forest podcast now. This weekend against Georgia Tech was phenomenal, has me in high hopes. As we touched earlier, I got them beaten Liberty. Once that does indeed happen on our Thursday podcast, I will talk about the series going into Virginia. But definitely did a full 180, as said in one of Said the Sky songs. What a beautiful 180 that is. So yeah, they are my contender for this week.
So I'm going to go with Georgia being my contender. I know our good buddy Calvin will definitely be happy to hear that.
Indeed, he will.
But yeah, I think Georgia's coming into their groove. I think they found themselves. They found themselves early in this season, and I honestly think they're just going to keep on rolling. I don't really see anything that's going to stop them from at least hosting a regional.
I mean, yeah, hosting a regional, but
I see several things that can stop them. I'm going to rattle them off now. I call them Arkansas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Florida. Is that enough things that can stop them?
They got a series against Kentucky this weekend, so I don't know. Are you saying that Georgia's pretender?
I'm very no. I think Georgia's.
No. I was meaning Travis.
Oh.
No, you know what? I always have to throw a little bit of salt on the wound when it comes to Georgia, but no, I can't fault you. They looked really good against Mississippi State. The only thing I'll say is we've talked ad infinitum about the garbageness of Mississippi State. So, take that for what it is. But Georgia, my critique early in the year was that they weren't dominating the teams like a top 10, 15 team would. And they played Mississippi State very well, I think. And Mississippi State, we talked about it. They're not great this year, haven't shown up, but they're still got a lot of talent. So no, I'll give it to the Bulldogs there. It's definitely this segment's also going to be turned over to Twitter to determine the winner. But I think Georgia as a contender, if I was deciding it, I think I would give this award to. Well, suck myself off a little bit here, but I think Arkansas.
This isn't turned on by statistics. You can't get that turned on over there,
buddy.
I think Arkansas is the most legitimate contender of the batch we talked about, but we'll post that to Twitter and let the people decide.
Yeah, I think after these next weekend and midweek games, I think we'll find out a lot about our teams here.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was your winner for the bold predictions?
Oh yeah, I didn't even do that one. I would want to say myself, but that's just too darn easy. So I'm gonna have to go with Brennan over there. I have to agree with him that
so he's gonna get swept by Florida.
Yeah, that LSU is gonna get swept by Florida. I mean, LSU is just I don't think they're a
what's happened to them this season. I mean, they're
a good baseball team, but they're not great.
Paul Maneri left the whole team in shambles. I mean, we essentially have two pitchers, in a bullpen of scrubs. And I think Jay Johnson I think he's trying to use his whole roster and give those guys experience, but I think he's really dropping the ball trying to use, these freshmen in these giant games that are must win against Texas and against Baylor, where he's throwing in freshmen that have had one at bat.
In really shitty, hard situations too.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's like bottom 8, like runners on scoring
bottom 8 runners on second, third, 2 outs, and you put a freshman over a guy batting 330, 340. This season already. That's been through these tough games, and it's just a lot of poor roster management, and they don't have the pitching to sustain themselves through anything. It'll be good to see them host a regional, but I don't think they will.
It won't happen.
I know we're like 17% LSU podcast. I think that's 1/6, but yeah, it's been tough to watch the Tigers this year. It's
been sad. They have a great class coming in next year. I mean, they got some freaking dudes coming in, but they're all prospects and they'll all be gone.
Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap it up for the most part, guys. I don't have my timer going. I apologize if this is a little bit shorter than our normal ones. We're going to be looking forward to getting the whole of our staff back after I had to leave of absence a little bit this weekend, and some of the guys had some conflicts tonight. But I will say we've got some exciting stuff working on in the background. Nolan DeVos, the pitcher for Davidson, that's absolutely shoving, has agreed to be interviewed. So we're working on that in the background. We're continuing to produce blog content. And most importantly, when everybody's ranks drop tomorrow morning, which as you're listening to it will be this morning, we're going to be chiming in with our own on Twitter and tuning in for a podcast that will definitely be released this time on Thursday.
Yes.
Backing up our rankings and analyzing everybody else's as well, in addition to previewing the upcoming weekend of baseball.
Yeah, and it will be a shit on the big time rankers. So
Yeah,
those are always fun to do.
I might have to get day drunk for that one again.
Hey,
yeah,
you say the word, brother, and I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't have to be gone for you guys to do that. But yeah, Notre Dame is overrated. That's our final thought for the they got unmasked rather. Now they're just rated.
Yeah, they're just they play baseball.
Yeah.
That's them.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for listening, and we'll tune back in on Thursday for our next episode.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Later.